Javed Abdi Foundation, JAF, which also stands for Journalism, Advocacy and Fun. Please subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, like, comment, and share. When you were talking, I constantly kept, some things kept reverberating in my head that a lot of the times when, there's talk about mainstreaming gender in disability and mainstreaming disability in gender. What exactly is meant by this? Like, how can we do this? Like, it's easy to say, okay, that's mainstream, right? But how exactly in our initiatives, like, let's say that we want to mainstream gender and disability, how exactly can we do this? When it comes to like a thought process, when it comes to a project, how exactly can we do this? Shampa ma'am, if you can give your thoughts on this, and then Anita ma'am, I would also like you to give your thoughts.
See, both gender issues and disability issues, both the issues are actually not part of mainstream agenda right now. So both, I think, as I'm also part of women's movement, the gender rights movement, we are also fighting to get a space in the so-called mainstream. I mean, it's very difficult to understand because these days, if we say that during lockdown, the transgender people are suffering so much because their main occupation, large number of transgender people, their occupation is singing, dancing, performance, or begging in the trains. And these things are not happening right now. So then people will tell us that, but do you think that other people are very like happy? I mean, it's not that everyone is facing problem. Yeah, we understand everyone is facing problem, but some people are more marginalized. And how do society accept that marginalization is happening? Because poverty is something which is like affecting all of us right now. Poverty may not be, but the economic slowdown is affecting all of us right now. But some people will be more marginalized, and we need to understand that this is something. There are like different ways. Like when you say mainstream, you're talking about. Suppose I today go to the say, food security department and tell them that this is something very important, and this is every person in the no one in this country, whatever lockdown situation we are in, whatever pandemic is going on, no one should die of hunger. When we say that, we again separately have to talk about women separately. Again, we have to talk about transgender people separately. We again have to talk about disability separately. Why is this happening? Because people are not taking these marginalized groups in a serious manner, because otherwise what happens is whenever there is a law passed, whenever a policy is happening, these groups are not getting the benefits. So this is something we again have to keep on talking about it. And for me, I mean, I had been doing this for many years now. So like if I go to even the within the movement spaces, because I don't think advocacy happens only with the government officials. Advocacy also required within movements. So every time I go to a disability meeting, I have to remind that अच्छा, gender aspect छोड़ गए हम. So how do we include that? Every time I go to a women's group meeting, uh, LGBTQ meeting, so there I talk about why we are not talking about the disabled also. So this is something, even within the social movements, we have to keep on talking about it. Otherwise, it's very easy to forget the issue which is not very visible, जिसको पता नहीं है आपको कि सामने नहीं है, तो इसलिए it's very easy to forget that. I think in one of the webinars I also talked about this, that when we're talking about, because the whole country is talking about the migrant laborers now, but within the migrant laborers there are disabled population. So disability is not just like, it's not only education, it's not only rehabilitation, not only accessible roads. It actually affects everyone. So this is something when I'm talking about migrant laborers, we're talking about whether there are trains. Are we also talking about other trains accessible? We are not talking about it. So it's something we have to keep on harping. That is my idea of when I think of mainstreaming.
Thank you, Shampa ma'am. Anita ma'am, your thoughts on Shampa ma'am, what she just said, and also an additional question to you, ma'am. You said that uh, uh, youth की बात सुनती है और आपकी बात नहीं सुनती है, but right now the youth, आप क्या मतलब हम लोग as youth क्या कर सकते हैं to mainstream disability in gender and gender in disability as well. So your thoughts on what what Shampa ma'am has said, and also what can we do as youth, as students, to mainstream disability and gender in all the spheres or anywhere we go.
I feel that mainstream means what? When I look at all the channels, there are so many channels, right? And we cannot, we keep on, I'm like, waiting that one day in 3 months, when they talk about all the issues, migrant issues, the number of cases, categories and all, one day, are they talking about disability? No, because as if we are not there in the, and when you say mainstream, we are not in the mainstream as citizens of this country. It's almost as if we are invisible, completely invisible. It's only the activists, who have spoken about it, or social media, or people who are, for example, I remember I wrote to India Today, and then I went and I spoke. I mean, they gave me what, 2 minutes, okay, and in 2 minutes, I could only say something about hospitals and could say something about the caregivers. So I think when somebody says mainstream, what is mainstream? Mainstream is whatever is there for everyone. So if we are not there for everyone, that means we are not in the mainstream, in that particular sense. Now, and I also feel, when I say youth, in one sense, I'm sometimes I'm being asked for, give the number of this one, give the number of this one. So I laugh and I say that it's so funny because you are as if your ideas are now over and new ideas. But I think the idea that is important, and especially for women and young women and men, I would say, the idea that is important is the idea of agency, the idea of resistance. You have to fight it out. And I feel, although of course, I always go for any chat when there is there on disability, but I feel that talking to other groups also is very important, and that intersectionality, where you can bring disability into the women's group, and women's issues can come up into disability, and so on and so forth, right? So I think it is very, very critical that all the issues, supposing if we say कि हमको environment के बारे में चिंता नहीं करनी है, भाई क्यों नहीं करनी है चिंता? हम भी तो रहते हैं उसके अंदर। तो लेकिन हम लोग भी नहीं सोचते हैं, क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं कि अरे हम अपनी पहले इश्यू को संभालेंगे तभी तो कह पाएंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि all sorts of issues that concern us, and it is not, when I'm talking to, sometimes I feel, when I talk to Shampa and Champa is talking to me, I feel, the converted is talking to converted. The idea is that you have to take this ahead somewhere else, where other people who have never heard about it. And when I say that what can be done for the intervention, I think in the intervention, the first and the foremost important thing is that are we aware about disability? You know, हम लोग बहुत आसानी से कह सकते हैं ना, heterogeneity of disability. And Champa and Murli will, vouch out for the fact that ये जो act लिया गया था, 10 मिनट लगे थे उसकी डिबेट के लिए, और उसके बाद किसी ने कुछ नहीं कहा था, सबने कहा हाँ कर दो, ले लिया था. सो एक चैरिटेबल मोड जो होता है, उसके अंदर डिसेबिलिटी को चुना जाता है, उसके बारे में समझा जाता है, और फिर भी उनके लिए कुछ नहीं किया जाता. जैसे केयर है, केयर सभी को मिलती है, लेकिन हम किस तरह की केयर चाहते हैं. दिल से नो नो, आई दिस शुड बी डन. अरे एज अ रेसिपिएंट आई एम आल्सो ह्यूमन बीइंग, आई एम अ वुमन, आई वांट टू बी रेस्टेड, I want to be cared in a particular way. But have you ever asked me that I want to be cared in that particular way? So I think these are the things which are very, very important. And I can't say that in 20, 25, almost 20, 30 years, I think, that nothing has happened. That's not true. A lot has happened. But the point is that whether each and everything has to be revised every time, every time we have to reinvent, whatever is happening. I think that, is the tragic part. That is the sad part, where, people forget that we all keep on saying that we are temporarily able-bodied, right? That's something which we always say. But do they meaningfully understand that we are temporarily able-bodied? That you all can become, now that, they're going through COVID, they think about disability. Disability is a global categorization. So while we can get virus, right? There is no rule which says that we can't get. Like that, I think as you grow older, you can have arthritis, you can have cataract, you can have, hearing issues. So why is it that we have not thought about it earlier also? So I think this is a very, very serious. And I would say to the youngsters that primarily, I think, and which is my contribution to the Ambedkar University, that I have been able to, contribute through the courses, and that is called disability studies, and we are now, opening up the MPhil disability studies and courses on disability studies, because जब तक knowledge नहीं होगी ना disability के बारे में, तब तक हम उसको आगे भी नहीं ले जा पाएंगे. So we need practitioners, we need you all who can actually work on that, and for that we need to have knowledge about disability, epistemology about disability. And I think that is something which is very, very important. We can talk about many things. For example, prenatal selection, when we do the, bills and all, we always write, but, yet selection is there. We can say sex selection is important, but disability selection is not important. You can abort, now, which means that it is better to be dead than alive kind of a approach which is there. So I think that is some very important, remember, and these are the things which actually create that awareness, so that every time we actually reflect and rethink on disability, and our own agency and our own resistance should be there, so that we can fight it out at every point that is there.
Thank you, Anita ma'am. Before we move on to the question answers, Shampa ma'am, there's this something that we've talked about women with disabilities. We've talked about trans people's rights, and how you had mentioned that they're facing issues during COVID-19 and all that. But I wanted to ask you about this the whole patriarchal society that we are sadly a part of, and do you what do you think about cases of young boys who are bullied, or pressurized into being a man, and or just the man box that people call, that men have to be tough, and men have to be like this, and when these identities are pushed on children. What do you feel about this, and what can we do to counter this this sort of thought process, or how can we change attitudes? Because I think creating awareness is great, but also we need to change attitudes. So what can we do to change attitudes?
It's a very, very difficult and slow process. The way we, I think the whole gender rights movement is trying to change the societal norm, but it's a very, very slow process. Uh, I mean, like one sometimes doesn't know where to begin. It's such a vast and such a huge problem, but at least the minimum thing that we can do is we can start having comprehensive sexuality education starting from early days. And sexuality education does not mean only we're talking about body image and things like that. Sexuality education is actually talks about gender roles. It should actually talk about issues that we are talking right now, like what kind, what is like one of the things that we kept on saying from the women's movement is the curriculum of school education should be changing. We need curriculum which is more gender friendly, and only recently we can see some changes in some school books. It's not helpful because the children are learning from the very early age that father will go to office, mother will cook, and these are the photos which are used in our textbooks or English textbooks. Or in, you're doing a class in arithmetic classes, we used to got maths which said if 10 men can do this particular work in 5 hours, um, and you need 20 women to do this work. You know, this kind of discrimination is throughout our life we see. And of course, we need to change our attitudes, but a little bit of awareness, if it has to come from the very beginning. It's very difficult to change your attitude when you are already grown up and you have sort of seen so much of discrimination around. So at least children should be given the option to question. We as a society, we don't like our children to question anything. We sort of try to give them sort of dictate that this is something you have to accept, and that is something we need to change. We need to change. We need to think that the children have the right to question. They have to think. And I'm personally very worried, particularly this COVID period. Now this, I don't know, like as it is, this online education itself is something only few of us. We know that internet is available to very few of us, and it will be accessible to very few of us. And this through this in, online education, I was just asking some of the mothers of very young children that what is happening really. And school, I mean, it's in class 1, with KG1, like the mother was telling me that teacher ने वो WhatsApp में lesson भेज रही है and I'm teaching that to my child. I mean, so where is the push? Where is the time for the child to ask a question to the teacher? I mean, बस वो lesson भेज दिया है, वही बस पढ़ा दिया है, and that is not education. You know, we need to rethink the whole way our society works. I mean, this cannot be education. And we need to change the curriculum. We need to actually question a lot, and we need to, it's very important that, and we have UN bodies telling us, UNESCO have a very good chapter on comprehensive sexuality education, which is something very important for, and I think it is very important when you're talking about disabled children also. And it's not only children. I mean, like when we say children, again, we always think of so-called mainstream children. It shouldn't be only for mainstream children. It should be for everyone. And we need to think how we can adopt it, how best we can actually make children understand that the society needs to change. Otherwise, they will never ask question.
Can I just add to what I think just there is the way women's studies came up. You know, we used to talk about in patriarchy, we used to talk about the issues of women. There were no courses at that time. It was only in the late 70s, 80s that actually in the universities you started getting, you know, women's studies courses. Like that, disability also has to be understood, you know, disability, sexuality, disability, care, and many things which are associated with it. Like that, I think it has to be weaved in the academic discourse and also at the school level, at the college level, so that, you know, like we studied, you know, about gender, you know, that is the way we can study about disability as well, you know, which is very important. And I think now we don't talk about only women with disabilities, we also talk about masculinity, you know, because that is also very gender doesn't mean only girls. Weaker section means both the boys also and the girls also. So in that particular sense, both masculinity as well as femininity is important, and we need to kind of, you know, talk about that. I'm sorry, मैं थोड़ा fast बोल रही थी. I'm really sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. I before we start, I think taking the questions quickly. Just one, one thing that I wanted to ask was that, as you know, like working, I've just started working in this space, and एक दिन मैं मेघालय गया था, वहां से मैं लोगों से मिला था, पीपल विद डिसबिलिटी से मिला था, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से मिला था. एंड मुझे एक दिन सुबह सुबह 10 बजे एक कॉल आया कि देयर इज अ वुमन हु हैज बीन ब्लाइंड वुमन हु हैज बीन रेप्ड, and what should I do about this? So if you can, because there are a lot of people listening and youth is listening, and so what are the laws and what is your SOP कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए अगर कोई domestic violence का केस है, या some pointers that you can give कि domestic violence का अगर केस आपके सामने आता है तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं, अगर घर से बाहर निकाल दिया है या उनको मतलब उनके साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रहा है तो क्या करना चाहिए, कैसे इसको हैंडल करना चाहिए. If Shampa ma'am and Anita ma'am, if you can quickly, before we move on to the questions, if you can tell us more about the laws.
I think Shampa ने बोला वहाँ पे जो हमने जस्टिस वर्मा कमीशन में लिखा था. Shampa, you can tell them the changes, no, that came.
Yeah, I mean, for domestic violence cases, of course, we have a domestic violence prevention of domestic violence act, but it does not include the disability issue at all. But we do have protection officers, and protection officers under this law. It's not because, see, a lot of women do not want to go to police against her husband or against her brother. And it's understandable, because that is something very normal for so that's why this law came. So, and that's how the protection officers are there who can be contacted, and every city, every district, not city, every district have a list of protection officers. Because I am in Kolkata, so I know the names of and phone numbers of Southern Kolkata, Northern Kolkata, who are the protection officers. So you can lodge a complaint with them. And of course, there are the State Women's Commission. There are offices of National Commission for Women who receive complaints by email. For now, they're taking complaints by WhatsApp also because of the pandemic. So there are mechanisms, but then mechanisms need to be disabled friendly also, and that is something we keep on pushing. One of the major thing that the laws that changed in 2013, the Criminal Law Amendment Act that happened, we also have POCSO Act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offense. Yeah. So that is a gender neutral law. So, and there are large chunk of areas, clauses in the law which talks about children with disability, and it can be both for boys and girls because it's a gender neutral law. And of course any other gender. So and it talks how police, I mean, of course, in a sexual offense, you have to lodge a complaint with the police, but it's not that a person, because if you are a disabled woman or a disabled child, you don't have to go to police station. This law that's changed, it says that the police have to come in. For children, they cannot wear their uniform also. They have to come in plain dress and talk to the child and take the testimony. And testimony, I'm making it a very, trying to make it a very simple language. Of course, if I talk about the clauses, it becomes very, the difficulties, the language will be more difficult then. And then the testimony have to be recorded. So you cannot keep on asking a child or a disabled woman. It's for any children and for disabled women, keep on asking the question, because we know that we know the rape cases that we follow, it takes a long time to finish. I mean, from police complaint to the judgment. So you cannot keep on asking the question. You have to record it, and it have to be videographed, and the same videograph have to be used so that the child does not feel it because it's very traumatic to talk about sexual abuse repeatedly. And same things, so these kind of clauses are included now, and it's included from
Everything is included.
2015. Implementation level is of course poor, but it's not zero. Again, I'd say it's not zero. Sign language interpreters, counselors, special educators have a very specific role. You can call them if you feel that there's a need, that the woman is not unable to express herself, then you can call this kind of specialist. These things are there, and again, I'm saying implementation is a problem, but it's not zero. Things are happening, things are moving. In quite a few cases, we saw that we got good judgment from even a disabled child is sexually violated, or a disabled woman. Of course, I'm not satisfied. I'll never be satisfied, because you want much more implementation. But if we all know, I mean, if Samir, if you want, I can like send you the list of all the clauses which we need to remember when we are going to the police, because we have to inform them. And we keep on tell the police that this should be part of your curriculum, police training, which is not again being, they know some bit of it, but we need to sort of push for it as activists, as civil society people. Whenever we get such cases, we have to inform them that this is something you have to follow. Otherwise, there is a high chance that they will just not follow the law.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we'll begin.
And also just to add, Shabir,
Yeah,
add, like, for example, even now, of course, because of the lockdown, but I think in the courts, like judges and lawyers, as well as, and all these people, they have these refresher courses within which the Justice Verma Commission report and all, and we do take up disability as one of the sessions which is there. So in one sense, what I'm trying to say is कि ऐसा नहीं है कि सुन नहीं रहे हैं. I mean, धीरे धीरे सुन रहे हैं, but of course, because there are so many issues, that's why I think the drawback is, like what Champa said, that the implementation at that level doesn't happen. That is.
okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
JAF is a youth-led initiative. We deeply appreciate the support of all our interns and volunteers. Thank you. You can follow us on Facebook at Javed Abdi Foundation, and you can tweet us at Rishad Shamir.